Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me today where we're diving into this discussion about transforming our body image with energy healing. I'm so excited to share this with you. So I'm going to share a little presentation and open it up in the end for questions and answers. Oh, where did it go? Can you see the screen? Yeah, great. Okay. But it's that, is that there? Okay, perfect. So if you're not familiar with me, I am Gina. I live on Oahu. I've had an amazing career as a flight attendant, and I left that career in 2020 when, at the end of the pandemic, as the pandemic was beginning, I had a major life uh, turnover. And in the course of 6 months, I had healed myself from thyroid cancer, separated from my marriage, rebuilt a new life, and then left my career. So a lot of things happened in the course of 6 months. I didn't know what I would do for work after leaving this career. I didn't have any plan B. And thankfully, I was in this transformational coaching program with the two people that are here today. And I'm so thankful for that opportunity to learn and grow myself in this deep despair, this time of really deep depression, because my whole life was upside down. And one thing led to another, which led me to energy healing. And it's transformed my life completely. And one of the areas that has been really helpful for me is this really self-acceptance and self love, really self-love. And this one of the components of this we'll be talking about today is how we feel about our bodies. So body image is a component of our self-esteem. Really, with strong self-esteem, our lives can completely change. Our relationships, our thoughts, even are on the deepest level, can transform our whole life. Our careers, our opportunities that come to us are all a result of how we feel about ourselves. So body image is what we think, we perceive, and we feel about how we look in our bodies. And there are four basic components or issues that influence how we feel about ourselves. And that's number one is how the society tells us what is acceptable, what is pleasing, what is not. And so we have these standards that are really not accurate for everyone, for mainstream. And so these standards need to be adjusted. And also, we just have to realize that is not who we are. The second is how media portrays body image, and to relate to being relatable to what we're seeing out there. And the third is a really important thing is how we have experienced our bodies in our lifetimes. And this thing of body shaming, guilting, all of these things that even it might stem from how from other people's perception of us. Other people's perception of us gets subconsciously stored, and we might not even know it's there. So it's really interesting that it can be triggered down the line, and then we be like, oh my gosh, I remember when I was 7 years old and my dad said da 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 about my body part or whatever, and then all of these emotions can come out when we also self-sabotage ourselves by comparing ourselves to other people and having unrealistic expectations of our experience of life. So there's so much pain when we have a poor body image. It can cause anxiety, depression, sadness, insecurity, shame, so much. And this also, like I said, can lead to low self-esteem. When we compare ourselves to other people, it makes it, we can feel unworthy, we can feel worthless, we can feel just no comparison to other people. And that sets us up for failure because we don't enjoy life, really. We don't go out and experience life to the fullest because we judge ourselves. Sometimes people can withdraw and isolate, in and that can even make matters worse because we're social beings. We need community, and when we isolate, that we can fall into a deep depression again. More issues that could cause challenges to our mental health, and also maybe start the process of disordered eating and shaming ourselves, guilting ourselves out of what our actions are. Our relationships can be impacted when we don't feel good in our bodies. Um, for one, we might not want to participate in going to the beach, even, putting on a swimsuit, or um, being intimate with someone because we might not feel comfortable in our bodies. So that's the pain. The pain is real. So and I covered this a little bit, but these are some of the things that happen when we have this low body image. We start to have this negative self-talk starts to manifest and cause a lot of issues with ourselves, holding us back, stopping us from experiencing pleasure and fun and joy, because we're not happy in our bodies. So, and sometimes we can get extreme and go to have, you know, surgical procedures to fix what we perceive as not perfect in our bodies. I think another important thing is we start to, and which I find now is very interesting in this world of the selfie, checking ourselves, right? And that's one of the ways we do it is by taking a selfie. We check in, like, is this a thumbs up or thumbs down? What is it? What do I look like in this outfit? How to and so we start to physically judge ourselves instead of really feeling how good we feel in our bodies. So it's looking at ourselves externally. So the promise I'm going to make for you here right now is that energy healing can change all of that. It can help you reduce stress, increase your self-awareness, tune into your body, a lot of forgiveness of any past actions, maybe overwork or overeating or whatever it was, any compensating behaviors that you've had in the past. You can totally, that was the past, because you'll start to revamp and rewire yourself for the success and the happiness that you deserve. So when we release this emotional baggage, we start to feel lighter in our bodies. We have a better relationship, not only with other people, but with food. And we also have a greater self-control. Because we're able to make better choices. When when we have low self-esteem, sometimes we might be in relationships with somebody where we can't, they're being too, we tolerate mistreatment, and we could feel undeserving of a healthy relationship. So sometimes we can be in a situation where we allow other people to make the decisions for us, and we give over our power when we don't have that discernment. So when we do energy healing, we actually can heal relationships with food, with people, with ourselves, with specific body parts even. I'll tell you a little story of how this came up. Is my mother, who I'm caring for right now, she had surgery to disconnect her small intestine and her large intestine. So right now she has an ostomy bag, which is a bag that comes outside of the small intestine and collects fecal matter. So we were so frustrated, she and I, because it would leak every day. We couldn't get the bag to stay on, and it was so frustrating for both of us. It stirred up a lot of emotion, a lot of frustration, a lot of anger. And what happened was, I realized that we both had a bad relationship with this stoma, which looks like a little red bump that comes out of the body. That's the ending of the small intestine. Well, we had we had just been angry at this body part. So um in doing some healing for both of us, we were able to pull out the trapped emotions. And now there's so much love and compassion for this stoma, this little red bump that comes out of her. And it's changed everything. So after my personal experience with this, I realized there, like, we have so much that's stopping us and creating so much unhappiness in our lives, and the stories that we begin to tell ourselves about our bodies that can be fixed. Like, we don't have to be angry. We don't have to be frustrated. And so that's why I'm bringing you this presentation right now, is so that we can also grow in our respect for our bodies and develop more connection with ourselves and with others. Another really cool thing about the energy healing work that I do, which I'll be sharing later, is we have the potential. This is super powerful. We have the potential to release generational patterns. Like, when we heal ourselves, it's not just about us. We actually heal other people in our relationships with our parents, our children, even the children that aren't here yet in our lineage can be affected by this healing. That's super amazing. I mean, in just yesterday, I did some healing on myself, and what I found was inherited from my mom. So in healing myself, I'm helping my mom in her healing. When you work with me, I'm able to trace back exactly, did this emotion come from your mom or your dad? How far back did it go? Are your children affected by it? So it's really, really amazing, amazing work. So here, if you've never heard of energy healing before and you're like, what is this? Let me tell you. So there are many different modalities that are out there right now. Reiki, most people think of energy healing as Reiki. That's their association, but actually there's so much more than that. Basically, it's a way for us to heal our energy systems. And what that means is, I'm going to take you a little deeper than that. Like, what does that mean, right? Now, this is the part that ties it all in. So for many, many years, we've known that we're not just this. Like, this is not who I am in the body. We actually have this big, big energy field around us. It's an aura or a biofield. And it's so important for us to know that this is present, because this is where everything starts in our lives. Like, everything that before our physical body feels any pains, we are actually feeling the effects of it already outside of us in our energy field. So there are many layers to us besides our physical body. As you can see in this picture, there's a mental body, an emotional body, an etheric body, and there's all these different layers. And what happens is what will happen is we will trap these emotions in our bodies, and it can eventually affect us and show up physically. So what happens is we start to use energy to clear the negative energy, and everything is a frequency and a vibrational frequency. Our bodies, our cells, everything has frequency. And you can kind of tie it into, like, if you turned on a radio station and you're channeled into that frequency, sometimes there's static, or so you're not on a good. Now that's when you need energy healing. When you're not in perfect attunement, alignment, that's when energy healing can come into play. Because what happens is there are many components of healing, not just emotional, and we can clear all of that, raising the vibrational frequencies in our bodies, so that we're living healthier, immune systems better. We can start to manifest better quality relationships and opportunities when we're in a higher frequency. So the purpose of this work is to raise your frequency and release the low frequencies. As you see here on this slide, The lowest frequency that can be measured scientifically is shame, and that's measured at 20 hertz at the bottom of the chart. Um, so during the pandemic, we've experienced all of these lower frequencies, right? We had anger and, you know, grief, a lot of that. And so we are not we are not linear. We not feel just one thing. Sometimes we have combinations of emotions that create a different frequency. But basically what happens is when we trap an emotion in our body, that affects our frequency and can eventually turn into the physical pain. It'll show up later. So if you look on this chart by Dr. David Hawkins, you'll see that the breakthrough point is courage, and that's measured at 200 hertz. Most people in the world have a level of consciousness below 200. They're not in tune with their bodies, and that's just life. This mental beliefs and the stories and the emotions that go on are primarily negative. So raising our frequency allows us to step into more joy and peace and love. When we release trapped emotions, I used there's two modalities that I'm talking about right now with you that I perform. One of them is the emotion code, and that can help with the physical discomfort, but it also helps to heal your emotions, the hurt of the heartache or any grief or anything that you've experienced in your life. And it can also restore love to relationships. Your specific relationships, like with your mother, with food, like I was saying earlier, everything is energy. So every relationship you have can be healed with the emotion code. This is the little chart that I use. This modality was created by Dr. Bradley Nelson. He's a retired chiropractor, and he used this system to help his patients. When I clear you, these are the 6 types of emotions that I can find. And like I was telling you earlier, sometimes these emotions can be inherited. And when I release them from you, it releases all the way back to where it started, that energy, and also for the future generations. One of the types of emotions are preconceived, and that's past life emotions. So if we haven't, we are here to learn. Like in this earth planet, it's a school. We're here to learn lessons, and if we don't learn them, we bring those lessons back and until we learn them. So sometimes I'll pull out some preconceived emotions that will give you some insight into the lessons that you are here to experience. We share emotions in a global consciousness that we're all connected. And we actually, during the pandemic, shared emotions of fear and grief. We all shared these emotions. It doesn't matter if you know a person, you can share an emotion with them. And I'm going backwards, but prenatal, you can experience, first start to feel emotions when you're in your mother's womb. You start to sense how your mother and father are feeling. And then you can take on those emotions yourself in the womb. We absorb emotions from people, from places. You probably have been to a place, and either you feel drawn to the place or you don't, and that's the vibe of the environment. And you can absorb any emotions from those places. You can also just simply go to the grocery store and be at the checkout line, and the teller, the cashier is in a bad mood, super grouchy, and all of a sudden you're grouchy. That's how we absorb the emotions of other people. And common emotions are simply the emotions that we experience in our day-to-day life. The body code, this is another modality that I use, is Dr. Nelson's second level system. It's an amazing tool. I just have to say, not only does it incorporate emotions by using the emotion code component into this, because truthfully, the most cases, the reasons we're experiencing different issues in our body is usually because of a trapped emotion. So this system allows us to dig deep into what are the reasons why I'm feeling this way. And how this relates to our body image is basically there's six different types of components here. And sometimes if we don't have a good body image, we can actually have despair anchors, which are beliefs that we believe are true. The subconscious mind will believe this stuff. And we have to actually go into the subconscious mind, find out what is the belief, pull it out, clear it from you so that you can start to experience life on a different level. There's also these things called broadcast messages, which can be found here in the body code. Broadcast messages are like I was telling you earlier, this concept of being we are like a radio. We're constantly receiving and sending information without us even knowing about it. We are telling people how we feel about ourselves. We're telling people how to treat us. And so in this world of all the cruelty that we experience in our personal relationships, sometimes it's really a broadcast message that could be going out that's telling people, that could be potentially telling people how to treat you, or and that could be, that could cause you to have beliefs about yourself um, that could affect your self-esteem and your body image. So uncovering the root of what's going on is the key to transformation. Because, for instance, I mean, if you're sick and you go to the doctor and he will treat your symptoms, but it's really just like putting a band-aid on it. The pain will come back. Right? So for instance, my mother, she has arthritis and she has some pain. Just this morning I went to see her and her hands were looking really sore, and I said, Mom, why are your hands like that? She goes, I'm in a lot of pain. So she took some aspirin. It can take, to take the pain away. But truly, if I were to work on her, underlying all of that, it could be a trapped emotion or some kind of, maybe energy flow of a meridian was not working. It could be a chakra, it could be heart chakra because it's her hands. It could be anywhere really, because anything can cause anything. So how we feel about our bodies and how we operate can be completely altered once we release the energy that started it all. And I'm going to show you just a couple of slides of these six different areas in the body code that are addressed. And this is one of them. This is energy. And like I was saying, sometimes, okay, for instance, we're talking about body image. Maybe when you were a kid, you went for a run, you ended up, hurting yourself severely, and you have an ugly scar now or something. Well, now this could be affecting you emotionally. It could be affecting you psychologically. It could also be physical, right? But also, you could keep the energy of this trauma in you, in your field, and things could come back, and reoccurrences of whatever injury was could happen again if we're not completely healed. So the energy could be any trauma energy could be something that you experience or something that comes back again that needs to be healed. It's amazing. Offensive. Now, this is interesting because this is where we actually add in the components of spirituality into the body code. So, for instance, you could have a curse or an entity that's specific to a body part, even. Last night, I found myself with a curse that was affecting the communication between my hypothalamus and my shoulder, and that was coming from my mother's side. it was interesting. So, and like I said, it's just the things that come out are just like, wow. Mental, the mental part. Oh, okay. Back to offensive. We can also be triggered by hypnosis, really, post-hypnotic suggestions, which are in the offensive section. So how we hear things, what our subconscious mind chooses to believe as the truth, can be stored, and we can clear that. We can actually find out what is the message that's there and clear it from you. Mental, that's where we can find out broadcast messages. If we have a willingness to do something or a willingness not to do something, this is where the despair anchors are, our thoughts, the negative thoughts. And also, which is really interesting, we actually keep memories in our memory field. So that could potentially be stopping us. So in terms of body image, maybe we were shamed in the past and we have the memory in our still trapped in our field of this person shaming us. So that has to be cleared. There could be any allergy or intolerance. Sometimes we have idea allergies, like we're just allergic to the idea of working out, for instance, or eating clean. So there could be a component there. Like I was saying, emotions, I covered that earlier. All those 6 types of trapped emotions can be cleared here. Another really cool thing is, like I was saying, we, instead of just feeling one emotion at a time, we usually feel them at least 2 or 3, mostly 2, a combination of these emotions. And these are here in the chart as well. So we can go a little deeper and find out what exactly is the problem. Reverberations, I think, are really important, especially for body image, because one of the types there is called seeking heart energy. And basically what that is our hearts are designed to feel pleasure and joy and happiness. And if we're not happy, we will go and look for something to make us happy. So that could lead to addictions and things like that. So with this tool, we're able to find reverberations. This could also mean emotions or some kind of communication that's lacking. And we can address all of that and leave and have it internally transform your body and your life. So another component here in the body code is nutrition and lifestyle. And I think as we start to really tune into our bodies and we realize that this is the time for me to focus on self-love, then this is a great tool because it will tell you exactly what your body needs. If your body needs a specific protein source or a vitamin that you're lacking. Also, if you're having trouble with your sleep, and that can actually be a problem too with our body images. When we're not sleeping enough, we're so exhausted that we don't have the capacity, the mental capacity to make decisions for healthy food choices. We don't even feel like exercising. There's no energy left. And so this tool can help with reset the sleep cycle so that you can actually get restored, physically. So this tool is really helpful. Another thing I see quite often is, especially with people working at home now, we're not getting outdoors enough. And so our magnetic field can be either deficient or it needs attention. So this tool can help you see exactly what your body needs. And now, isn't it time to just ditch the limiting beliefs and the stories that we've been telling ourselves about how we're not good enough and really release those ideals and bring it back to who we truly are? Stop comparing ourselves and enjoy life. If it's time for you to play bigger and stop all the doing, start the being, then is it time for you? If it's time, if you're saying yes, then I am inviting you to dive in deeper with me and learn how you can improve your body image so that your self-esteem can be better. Your whole life will turn around when you start to realize that sometimes what's affecting you is not in your control. Sometimes just releasing the energy that could be there. It could be a mental energy, an emotional energy, um, a psychological energy, any of that. We can release it and we can totally turn your life around and make you feel better in your body. If there's any physical pain, take that away as well. So if you're interested, I will be sending you an email out later today and giving you a link so you can book a discovery call with me, and we will get on a call and talk specifically about your concerns. And I look forward to that. Thank you so much for listening. And now time for you to open up and share your insights, or maybe questions, maybe something was a little confusing. Let me know.
I have a question. If
Mhm.
I would buy some like sessions for my kids or a friend of mine who has just had some health issues recently, do you suggest doing that or do you suggest talking to them first to see if they're even open to it? 'Cause
They,
my girlfriend would never do it unless I said, well, I've already paid for this. You know what I mean? And then I
yeah,
think she would utilize it. But if there's not necessarily that belief in there, does it make a difference? Can you still help them?
not if they're an adult. So we have the as a parent, we can do this for our children without their consent until they're adults. Once they're an adult, we need to have their okay, because we're adjusting their energy. So we want them to know that, and we need their approval. But in this case, Michelle, like I work with a lot of people who want to have their husbands or their wives do this work. And so for those in those situations, all I need to do is get their approval, and I don't have to meet with them. I just do the work, take the notes, and I send it to them. Sometimes they want a video so they can actually see me do the process, and they can watch it at their convenience. Um,
Mhm.
so
So they
yeah,
don't even have to spend the time doing it,
they
basically.
don't have to do
And
anything.
I'm not saying I would do it without, I would say I'm gifting this to you, right? Um,
Mhm.
and all you have to do is agree to it, whether or not you want to be live with Gina so she can explain it to you. And then so it should still work, even if they don't necessarily believe this process yet, because they just have no experience with things like
Right.
that.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that would be the best thing, is to, or even send her this video so she can kind of learn a little bit about it. Is it a physical problem, or is it?
Yes, she's been struggling with an infection and a couple of her toes where
Mhm.
they've been like cutting off, you know, some dead tissues and things. And then it ended up being, it started coming up her leg. So, but she's refusing to say, they're not going to amputate or whatever because they keep, throwing that at her. She's like, no, this is, it cleared up from the other toe. It'll clear up on this toe, So now they've got her going in for an intravenous antibiotic once a week and oral antibiotic. Then she was also just recently diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which they're not doing anything about because she has no symptoms. So I'm like, okay, well, if they're not going to do anything about it, maybe we can do something holistically, right?
Yeah,
And she's not, she just doesn't, she's not quite there, right?
yeah,
But she's so sick of, the whole Western medicine, not that she would even call it Western medicine, but you and I know that
right.
it's just crap.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I mean, we're not dissing on the Western system, but yet
right.
this is just another alternative that actually addresses other areas that
Yeah.
we don't address in the Western system.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, so yeah, I just thought, she's had a lot of stress in her life for the last couple of years. She was taking care of her mom, and then her mom passed, and then she was taking care of her significant other's mom, and she just passed. So there's just been all of this taking care of everybody else, and not necessarily her. She's lost over 100 pounds over the last, like, say, 6, 7 years. Um, so she has been taking better care of herself to a point, but she's just, I just believe in my intuition that she's just got all this stuff that really could get released, and that might be able to help her without her having to do a ton of work to make it happen, you know.
Right. I think if people knew how easy it could be, right? Then
Yeah,
they'd be saying, "Yay, sign me up. Let's get rid of
yeah,
this pain.
yeah,
Let's stop this." Right? But they don't they think this the hardest part is the education and getting her into, even if she'd be willing to get on a discovery call with me, I could talk to her personally and explain things. Or, if that's, yeah, it's really up to you what you decide, but I think I could definitely help her because
yeah, I know you
everything
can.
causes
Yeah,
everything,
yeah, yeah.
anything. Yeah. So yeah, let me know if I could get on a call with her or if she's open to that. Or maybe
Okay.
make a video for her so
Yeah.
she can
Now
watch
that
it.
I've talked about her, I'm not so sure. I can maybe
Oh,
cut off the end of the video somehow or something, but um not that I, give a name out or anything like that, but
yeah.
okay.
Or my YouTube channel, because there's the basics there is like what is emotion code. I haven't done many body code videos, but yeah, I will start. So
Okay.
you can
There you go. Now you
explain
got a
it.
good
Yeah.
reason. Okay. Well, you can talk more too. So you and I need to get
Okay.
together anyways one of these days here.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Any other questions? Yes, Marcelo.
Yeah, I was curious because when I did have this bleeding, my nose bleeding, and for 2 days, and when it stopped, I asked you for healing, and it was in absence, so I don't even know what you did. But I was wondering, do you use the emotional code or the body code, and how is that even possible that is no bleeding will go away? I mean, that's very impressive, or kind of like was like what happened like how
Yeah.
that possible? Yeah.
So for you, I use the body code. Yeah. And I don't remember the notes, but there definitely were emotions there as well. Oh yeah, I do actually kind of do remember it. So it actually was tied into uh, an event that you experienced,
Mm.
and that was causing the problem. So
Yeah,
the emotions that were coming up from there.
I noticed that it was a lot of fear. I mean, I
Mhm.
started really getting apprehensive, like I have to go to the emergency room. I just didn't know what to do because I did everything I knew to stop it and wouldn't do it. The other thing I was curious about is, and thank you, and Michelle, thank you for your question. I think it was very, very good question and answered a lot of my questions too. But I was wondering about the numbness. What is the frequency of numbness? Or does numbness is considered an
Emotion?
emotion? Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good question. It's probably lower than shame, I bet, because it's really not feeling. So that's probably,
yeah.
0 to 10, 20. The low 20 hurts. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, got it. Because that was very prevalent in my life. That was my survival kind of going to numbness, a
Mhm.
way of staying, being able to cope with life. And so I was wondering, where is it? Because I didn't see it in the chart that you show. So yeah, below 20,
But
it makes
because I think
sense.
it's actually
That's
the absence of an emotion. Numbness is the absence of an emotion.
that's
So,
right.
but I'm sure that there must be some measurement on it because it's a frequency, right?
Right, right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe you
good
can
question.
check it out.
Thank you for your question.
Sure.
Michelle, have you ever helped someone with tinnitus? Yes. Those actually is very interesting because I have, and it's gone away, but it's come back again for this one person. And I think that there's many levels of healing there. It's yeah. So yes, I have, but I have not been successful yet. And I'm not the only one. because I'm in a community of other people that are doing this, and they've also said that tinnitus is one of the is an issue that they also find has been a little sneaky around completely dissolving the problem. But so maybe, and I did, how many sessions did I do to help that person? Maybe 1 or 2. So maybe I could have done more work for her with her on that. So
I
it
know that, yeah, I mean, it's a symptom from typically, I mean, I know there can be other symptoms, you know, that are more energy
Mhm.
levels, but some of it is caused from damage. So if there's damage, you know, but I think that once a person has it, they are so focused on it because
Mhm.
it's there, you know, and it's annoying and it's distracting that
Mhm.
obviously we all know, you know, many of us know in the healing modes that the more you focus on something, the more you see it, the more you get it, the more you notice it, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
That could be, you know, one of the things about it. But yeah, and it might be one of those that you got to use a few different modalities to really see those results, you know, like even with the hypnosis thing, if you can have good energy healing, heal what comes out that way, plus trying to get that subconscious to not focus on it helps.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All
Yeah.
right, thank you, that's helpful too, thank you.
Yeah, that's a that's a great point. I mean, she was surprised that I helped her because she had spent $2,000 working with this high level shaman who hadn't
Oh,
taken it away. And then I worked with her and I got it, you know. So anyways, it was successful, but I should check back in with her because I know that it did come back. Maybe it's gone again. I really don't know.
okay, thank
Thanks for
you.
asking. Hey, Paul, do you have any questions? Oh, maybe you're eating lunch now. I'm your lunch entertainment. Anyways, thank you all for coming today. And oh, one more question. Yes.
Yeah, we were talking about self-image, right? And
Mhm.
I was wondering if you have an example of someone who you work with about self-image and how that impacted them. Because self-image is something that is very prevalent today and for most people, right? Me included. But any experience about how my work, yeah, to
Yeah.
be, to even this tendency to be perfectionist, right? That has to be just right. But those kind of things, have you been successful, or what is the degree of success?
Yeah. So I have worked mostly with people in relationship and how self body image affects their marriage in particular. And it has helped for them to just be more open and connected with each other, um, you know, in their intimacy, because I think also in dating, um, for the single people that I work with, just having this confidence to approach relationships and be able to be vulnerable and you know just be who they are. That's huge. So yeah, and I've have had that, and I usually work with people in their relationship to their body themselves and in their personal relationships. I have worked with people who've um, used this modality to help their relationships and in turn have had um, success happen because they felt better in their body and their relationships with their children, their partners, and then boom, you know, they get like opportunities come to them and things like that. So yes, this work can help on many levels, but ultimately, self-esteem and body image as part of self-esteem is crucial for us in our lifetime because it makes us more resilient, it makes us more decisive. It puts us in our bodies. Like literally, we're so busy doing the things. Like even if we had a poor body image and we thought, I have to go to the gym, I have to eat right, I have to do all these things. But truly, it's not the doing, it's the being that it makes us successful. And the being is our frequency. So when we are able to raise our frequency, our lives just expands. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope that answered you. Okay, well, that's it for today, but I totally appreciate your time and I'll send you this recording later and I look forward to connecting with you again. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank
Aloha.
you.
Thanks for
Aloha.
coming.